Live from Collider Studios in Burbank, California, this is Inside Schmoedown. I'm the Pitboss, Napzok. Look at this angle. I love it. I feel like we're in the war room. I'm Wolf Blitzer on election night. We're down here. We're live right now on the Collider Facebook page. And, of course, we replay this on YouTube. That's the thing that a lot of people watch on Saturday. So if you're joining on that, thank you. But if you're here live, appreciate it here. And I'll spoil it right now. No guest today. Look at this. Cody, get a shot. There's no guest. Look at that.
Yep, nothing.
That's nothing. Yeah, you're the guest, though.
Yeah.
As always, Cody Hall.
They're stuck with me today. How's it going, guys?
Cody Hall over in the engineering booth. I love the real Cody Hall. He's one of my favorite people. And yelling occasionally in the background is Adam Smith, though not so much today, maybe. There's a thumbs up from Adam.
There
guys,
he was, yeah. He made a cameo.
We got a special, Q&A kind of episode today. Took a lot of your questions on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook group I posted yesterday. You guys got some great questions. We're going to talk about them here. We got these tournaments, the Ultimate Schmoedown Teams Tournament. It's behind us a little bit. We know that going into Spectacular, we're going to have a big match there, and then we got the singles tournament still going on, and we've got some big matches in the last couple weeks here. You're not going to focus on them as much today. Jeff Snider versus JTE was one of those amazing matches. It was brother versus brother. Truly a Lion's Den civil war, and JTE coming out on the side of victory there. I'll tell you, this might be a year of destiny for JTE. Remember at one point he couldn't buy a victory? I mean, literally would try. Scrape together his allowance, his laundry money, try to buy a victory, kind of try to bribe us. That part's not true. But he couldn't win. Cody, do you remember when JT was a loser?
Yeah, it was great. He was actually, like, humble and nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he would
yeah.
talk to us over at the hamburger stand. Now he just buzzes on by to a fancy taco shop. Now I think it's going to get even worse, but a big win for JT. Don't ever sleep on JT if you're placing bets for this, because he gets this reputation. I know occasionally we got the Geppetto moment. I know occasionally he's cute and adorable when he bumbles and stumbles over words, but you know what? I think sometimes that's even a facade. I think even JTE fuels that. I think I know Tappy. I know him well. And I think sometimes he's such a mad genius. He wants you to think he's just stumbling in here to compete, and then, boom, just knocks you out. And Snider, of course, is a beast as well. So this was a titanic matchup. And I begrudgingly have to say, congrats to JT. I don't know what goes on in that Lions Den over there. I don't know what goes on in that Patriots locker room. I don't know the words of encouragement that Tom has given them. I can't imagine he's ever given words of encouragement. And you got the Lioness, Grace Hancock there. Maybe it's just it's a good atmosphere. And you got Draco and Robert Meyer Burnett there now, Blofeld's cat. Like you got an interesting dynamic there. I've rooted against them for so long that you just sometimes have to pause and go, what is going on inside that locker room that leads to these great competitors and these big wins? So JT, congratulations there. Then we had Kalinowski versus Chandler 2. Miss Movies versus KO Kalinowski, and Kalinowski with the win. And then after the match, Miss Movies had a real tough interview, a sincere moment. You can see what competitors put into this, and it got to her. And I applaud her sincerity. I applaud her, as a lot of kids might say, breaking kayfabe, though. As an old wrestling guy, sometimes you use that word wrong out there. I'll let you know. It was a real moment. It was a real moment. And I applaud her for letting that happen, for letting it flow through in that moment, and to see where her mindset is. I don't know what that means for the Misfits. I don't know. That's what I asked on the show, and they pitched it back to us. Mark and I almost didn't even know how to react to that. We're just, we'll see what's going to happen. Jay Washington, Stacey Howard, maybe they can sit down with Miss Movies and help her refine her center. Or maybe, some competitors we've seen before just need to walk away, take some time, and put some things behind them, and maybe that's it. I know she's put so much into this. Those entrances, the energy, the studying, the mental focus. She has dumped 110% into it, and that can sometimes take its toll. I put about 5% into it, so I don't know, Cody, do you think it'll ever take its toll on me?
Maybe. I think he had a chance.
I appreciate that confidence there in that spec. But what remains is Kalinowski wins. He moves on. Let's bring up that bracket so I can see it here.
There you go.
I feel definitely like Wolf Blitzer. Bluff Witzer?
It's a tough name. It's a really tough name.
That's like a South Park character. All right, so we are looking at Rachel Cushing. Defeated Stacey Howard. We talked about that record-setting performance last week, and she is awaiting the winner of the Inglorious One, Sam Levine, and the Outlaw John Rocha. I just don't know who is going to come out of that one. If I had to predict, I would say Rocha. He seemed a little off-kilter this entire tournament. And the other tournament as well, the team's tournament and the Glorious One, we know what he's done with Above the Line. So right now it's a toss-up. Cody, who you got?
I'm going Rocha. He's
going
like a freight
Rocha.
When he's like focused, it's a freight train, and it's kind of terrifying.
All right. Adam, don't have to say anything. Just if you're going for Rocha, throw 2 cheese sticks at me. Levine 1. All right, that looks like a Levine vote there. And bring that back up again because I want to talk Kalinowski versus JT. This is an interesting one because Kalinowski, I would have said maybe a year ago, I would have not given him a chance. And that's not to disparage what Mike knows and what Mike accomplished back then, but he has grown as a competitor. He's grown into himself. The idea that he is kind of a hero is something that JT used to be. JT used to be every man's hero. Now he's a little evil. So this is a battle of good versus evil in a way. I respect where Mike has gone as a competitor, how he has grown as a competitor. Like I said, a year ago, I would have taken JTE in a walk. I got to tell you, I don't know. I don't really know. This is a tough one, but I might believe that this is the year of JTE and that there's some destiny behind it. There is some other worldly force pushing JTE forward. So my prediction is in the finals. I got JTE. If it's Cushing and Rocha, I'm going to go Cushing. And if it's Cushing Levine, I'm going to go Cushing. Cushing, JT in the finals. Then, who do you got? Cody, Cushing, Levine. Excuse me, Cushing, JT in the finals.
Between those two,
if that shakes out,
I'm going anyone who's not JT, so I'm going Cushing.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a pretty good. I believe my Nerds Watch partner. If we are partners, I know she's taking time to figure it out. She asked me here last week how to put the ball back in my court, and I've been looking for my smile. We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna figure it out. But I'm definitely in her corner. She took her time with Jay Washington's offer to join the Misfits with the ladies at 6 Degrees. I understand that. It was a big decision. She took some time with it. So she's, like I said, toss the ping pong paddle at my corner, said hit the ball back to me. We're going to have that answer soon. I don't want to keep you guys out there waiting for that. Let's take a look at some of these questions. I apologize. I might be reading directly off the screen a little bit more. Cody, you okay with that?
Sure, go for it.
All right. So Mikey Solar Christy Musta says, I don't know if that's 12 people or just one person with a great long name, a beautiful name. I love the match with Kalinowski and Brienne. I applaud Brienne and her courage to open up to us, and I hope she knows she has a huge support group, the Schmoedown family. That hug at the end was so genuine. And the real question, does anyone have a bracket intact? Well, that's one thing that's one of the highlights of this tournament. Stacey Howard, even though she lost to Rachel, she broke a lot of brackets with Mark Ellis. Miss Movies, she broke a lot of brackets with that defeat of Clark Wolf. So those two competitors, the 6 Degrees team, part of the Misfits group, should really, really take that to heart. They did a great job breaking brackets. I know my bracket is not intact. Cody, probably because I didn't make one, Cody.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got the app?
I do have the app.
Okay, you still. I didn't want to make
really
sure
bad at it.
You didn't delete the app.
No. New update today.
All right, here we go. Corey Knott, our friend Corey Knott. He's one of the admins over the Movie Trivia Schmoedown page. Request to join. Maybe Corey will let you in. He's a gatekeeper. Have you all been surprised by the fan interaction from podcast to art to just wonderful people? Is it encouraging to know the product is reaching people to that level? Absolutely. Look. I can't take any credit for creating this game or creating the buzz around it. That belongs to Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis, who sat in a restaurant a couple years ago and said, "What if we did a competitive movie trivia thing?" And then Christian Harloff with his wrestling brain saying, "You know what? Here's something we can do with it and take it to the next level." This is some behind the curtains kind of stuff. This is the amount of energy and passion that Harloff puts into this. I'm not surprised that the fans are answering that passion with this kind of connection to what's going on. I am an old wrestling fan and someone who has worked in and out of the pro wrestling business on a small level, to be clear, but I've run some independent federations and done some booking and all that kind of stuff and participated as well. I can tell you when wrestling at its pure form is a great American art form that's been, other countries have done their own versions of it too over the course of time. Wrestling Japan is very different than wrestling in Puerto Rico, wrestling in England, the wrestling in India, these pockets. So when you do it right, you connect with the audience and they buy into these moments and these storylines, and that's what I think's going on here. It's the competitive angle. You might not like pro wrestling, but you see the competitiveness going on. You see, you're in there, you're locked in yourself, but then you get the characters. And you're behind someone like the Outlaw, or you're behind someone like JT, or you're rooting against Miss Movies at first, and now you're like looking at her a different way, and you're rooting forward. That's what happens. That's the connection, Corey. And I'm not surprised about that at all. And I don't know why more people aren't rooting for Cody Hall.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ken. Thank you.
Alec has asked, who has been the biggest surprise in the tournament as your prediction for the winner of the tournament changed? No, my prediction, I mean, it's on record. I can't exactly remember, but I still think Rachel is the one. The Crusher's going far. I believe it. The biggest surprise in the tournament, for me, was Stacey Howard defeating Mark Ellis. Only because Ellis is a former, tournament winner. He's a veteran, one of the co-creators of the league. And I just think Stacey came in and reminded people of what she can do and what she knows. And, yeah, she did follow it up with a big loss, but that sometimes happens. You look in sports, big win on Monday Night Football against a top-tier team, and then you go in on Sunday to a 0-5 team and you lose because sometimes that the emotions aren't in balance. And I think that might have happened with Stacey, and also that doesn't take anything away from Rachel, who was just a record-setting performer that day. So that, to me, Alec, was the biggest surprise of the singles tournament, of the teams tournament, late to the party. The kids from Arizona hitching a ride on a bus out here, taking a Greyhound or whatever they did to come on out here for this big moment. That was the one. All right, Jonathan Stubbs asks me a personal question here. Who am I most afraid of in the Star Wars match? So at the Schmoedown Spectacular, I will be defending my Star Wars movie trivia Schmoedown belt against the winner of I think it's now a Fatal 5-Way. It's changed a little bit. You have Joseph Scrimshaw, Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained, Steele Saunders of Steel Wars Podcast, Geek Girl Diva is a new addition to the ring, and then Sam Witwer, Star Killer himself. So who am I afraid of in that match? I'll say everyone. So many people know Star Wars. I don't have the corner on Star Wars trivia knowledge. Everyone knows it. Everyone generally, if you're a fan of Star Wars, knowing things about Star Wars. So I don't sit back and look at anyone and think I could defeat them in a contest. I just don't. I take everyone seriously. But that said, of the five, I fear Witwer. I know I defeated him at Star Wars Celebration. He got knocked out kind of early and came down to me and Campia. But I got to tell you, Witwer, he was running tired that day. He was running ragged. I don't want to take anything away from myself, but I fear him. And I'll tell you what, he's my broadcasting partner on the Force Center podcast feed. But Joseph Scrimshaw knows names of aliens and planets I've never known. And I fear. And then, of course, Star Wars Explained, Alex, is literally how I studied. I watched his videos, and that's how I learned there. So, Jonathan, I'm afraid of them all. Most, I'll say, is Witwer. Kyle Arango asks a great question here. Why are so many players retiring so early into this show's development? That's a fair question. We've seen Dan Murrow walk away. John Roca, his energy level's different. He's still competing. Sometimes I look at John, I wonder, like, is he a little, what's he feeling? And then Mark Riley, Clark Wolf, at times, all these competitors, even Christian Harloff seems to sometimes, I'm just going to announce. No, I'm back in. I'm the champion. Things come and go. Look at what Miss Movies Pull Back the Curtain showed us last week. These competitors put so much into it. That is what it takes to compete. And I'm talking both on camera and off. You really get into it. You feel the competitive vibe. And then with what Corey was talking about, the fans, sometimes you can't escape it. You're out there on Twitter just trying to live your life, sharing a cat meme and or retweeting something Cody Hall says, and you're funny, Cody.
Thank you.
More people should follow you on Twitter.
The real Cody Hall.
You're really funny. And then you can't, because then people are sending because they want, you're part of the fun, you're part of the action. Hashtag Schmoedown, movie trivia Schmoedown. Hashtag who you got. And so sometimes you can't escape that even when you walk away from the set. So I think that's why. Kyle, you're seeing some people. Mark Riley, I know. I work with him every day. They want to just back away. I want to get some of your favorite moments in, guys, real quickly here. I asked for that as well. Favorite moments in the tournament. Alec Musil checking back in. Favorite moment. And then this is Ewan Burlage also checking in. Favorite moment was the McSweeney-JT sudden death match. This is a fantastic moment. For me, calling it, it was the best Schmoedown match I've ever called. Best thing I've ever watched. These two going back and forth. What, they got 6, 7 sudden deaths? Go to the Schmoedown rundown. Those guys will have the exact details on that. They're great with that. I couldn't believe what I was watching. As I was excited. It was one of the only times in calling matches that I was rooting for both competitors to keep answering right so that we could have the match keep going. It was my favorite moment as well. Natasha Couch says, love the victories of Cushing and Kalinowski. And she asked me, do I ever have a hard time when announcing for Cushing staying objective and neutral? No, I try to do my job up here. I only really root against JTE. Yeah, the victories of Cushing, that record-setting performance against Stacey Howard was impressive to watch. Matthew Kearns, his favorite moment is Riley beating Roca and getting the belt back. That's just overall in Schmoedown. That's a great moment, too. Yes, I've never seen Mark Riley move like this ever. Skips. He had no shoes on. Cody, were you worried he was going to pull like a foot muscle?
He had incredible traction there. I couldn't believe that he really kept it together. It's dangerous, man.
So sometimes when I go out to get the mail, I take my slippers off. And I worry about myself.
You're living dangerously.
He's dancing over there. Leo Logan says, or excuse me, Ryan Clark, favorite moment so far, late to the party's win against critically acclaimed. We showed that, but that's a great moment. And Sam's answer of Roca when he didn't know who directed 2005's Fantastic Four. Do you remember that moment, Cody?
Yeah, it was a great time.
That was a fun time.
Good laugh from the crowd.
Good life. And final thing, Leo Logan asked this. Leo Logan, good question, Leo. Any hints as to who the interim commissioner is going to be on Friday? That's tomorrow. You're going to find out who the interim commissioner is. Christian Harloff stepping down, talking about people kind of putting so much energy into it and needing to step back. If it's Tom Dagnino, we have some problems. We have some problems. It better not be him. That's my prediction. Cody, I think you could be a good commissioner.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Ken. No,
right.
I would be terrible.
You'd be great. You'd be great. Don't give yourself some credit. All right, guys, that's it for today. That's it for today. Next week, I'm trying to lock in a very special guest, so we'll wait on that, but this has been fun. I want to thank you all for checking in. There's a lot of great questions, competitors would like to see, and we're working on that. There's new people coming in. Trust me, we got some new blood coming in, and a lot of great new competitors, and you're going to enjoy some things we got cooking up there, but you guys are fun. Go check out, I said, the Schmoedown Rundown. Frank, Brian, Aaron, they're going to break all this down. Good stuff. They had Miss Movies on recently, Rachel the Crusher. Go check out what they do on the SK Podcast Network because they really go in detail. And Frank, with those numbers, are so good. So that's it for today. I want to thank Cody Hall, Adam Smith's Thumb, and I'll see you guys all next week here on Inside Schmoedown.